This presentation was delivered at OpenText World 2023 as a Turbo Talk. Corporate applications on the move using hybrid workspaces. Presenter, Product Manager Paul Padron. It is probably safe to say your organization is configured for the best productivity, securing the data, property, assets, and staff to be successful. Let me take a minute to digress. When I was in scouting, I remember an exercise that most of us have done on any adventure. We were asked to build a kit to be the most productive in a scouting situation. It was a survival kit. The drill was to pick only 10 things to bring for success on your adventure. What would you bring? Provisions like a knife, compass, map, flint, etc. to be successful in your adventure. Now essentially, you have built your kit or provisioned your organization for security, productivity, resources, equipment, infrastructure, and so forth, so that your organization is successful. What is the key component that eludes us from providing our users or staff those needed resources? Device, access, and location. You've built that kit. Why not extend those resources you've invested in to your users anywhere on any device? Hybrid Workspaces connects those resources securely anywhere on any device so your organization and users can remain productive and successful. Productivity is in the details. It is a lifeline to any successful organization. And we're talking any industry or business. Doesn't matter. Marketing, financial, banking, petrol, architecture, consulting, I can go on. Businesses rely on staff, skills, time, and resources to be productive. At a young age, Paul J. Meyer became keenly interested in personal achievement and goal setting. In 1960, he was considered the founder of the personal development movement. Paul J. Meyer made the above quote as one of his formulas for success. Productivity is never an accident. It is always a result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning, and focused effort. As far as quotes go, the great Benjamin Franklin also said, "Lost time is never found again." And another quote, "You may delay, but time will not." These are bold statements that really comes into play when talking about productivity. People committed to excellence induces a passion they have for the trade they reside in. Paul Meyer gives us insight about these 3 points. They birth the focused effort required to complete the task or build a business to a successful, productive business or operation. Commitment to excellence is the foundation. Build a talented team by providing resources they need. Intelligent planning, having that research, strategic thinking, and time to formulate the roadmap. And focused effort, energy and synergy needed to execute the roadmap on the front lines. Commitment to excellence or passion plus intelligent planning plus focused effort equals success, which is productivity in a very positive way. Resources that are tied together to achieve the highest level of success are things like technology, people, and time. Technology like applications or services or infrastructure, or integration with multi-factor authentication or cloud storage, even locally mapped network drives. And people, users and staff whose talent or skills are vast and ideas endless. I can go on days on technology improvement and people, with their skills and what they can bring to the table. However, time is finite. Taking advantage of each minute is important, sometimes critical. I just have a couple thoughts and quotes. Nathaniel Hawthorne, an American novelist and a short story writer in the 19th century, had these profound words. "Time flies over us, but leaves its shadow behind." How time passes quickly, doesn't it? Paracelsus theorized in the constitution of matter. He had a quote, "Time is a brisk wind. For each hour it brings something new." Think about how these words are really timeless, even in the sense of information technology, and how resources of technology, people, and time are the fabric of our world. That being said, resources need a form of communication. What resources do you have so that your resources can communicate? It's so important, either written or spoken interpretation or digitize. It is the utmost importance to convey the right perspective so everyone is on the same page. 3 years before returning to Apple to launch the iPhone iPad revolution, Steve Jobs said something that downplayed technology and elevated the people that make the technology. He said, "Technology is nothing. What's important is that you have a faith in people, that they're basically good and smart, and if you give them tools, they'll do wonderful things with them. That's the component that makes your organization function. It's communication." Part of the building blocks listed in these past 3 slides are to get us in the midst of provisioning, protecting, and providing productivity. There are a lot of interconnects with provisioning, protecting, and what productivity looks like in your organization. Provisioning resources, whether it's training, devices, time, people. It's important to provide our staff with the tools they need so they can contain the commitment to excellence. Protecting the user, the organization, the data, whatever it looks like, through the intelligent planning for the tasks at hand. Keeping a focus on the lifeblood of the organization for productivity. This may be striving for 24/7 access, or higher return on investment, or with the bar raised at 5 nines uptime in order to have a successful growing business. Now you may ask where I'm going with this. You have built up the best organization combining resources like technology, people, time, and communication. Now use it for every situation. In some cases, in most recent years, with the remote worker and pandemics, there are some situations where there's no control or policy that can account for the staff's devices or location. How would you like to remove the device or the operating system or the user location from the equation and still provide the user with the resources they need, all under the current corporate security policy? Unpredictability of the user and their location, and the unpredictability of the device. Now, hybrid workspaces provisions protects users from anywhere on any device, increasing your organization's productivity, releasing your users to do what they do best for the organization without inhibiting them by device or location. Let's leverage all the integration pieces into one solution and control your environment through controlling access and assets or applications. Bring your IT environments to your users. How about provisioning and protecting your users to maximize productivity? Hybrid workspaces can do this. Let's see how hybrid workspaces fulfills the 3 key points: provision, protect or enforce, and productivity, and that commitment to excellence for success in your organization. It dovetails the security integrations and protects the deployment that you have established in your organization and already invested in. Security is already set up: infrastructure, applications, multi-factor authentication, and so forth. Integrations, you may have cloud storage, you may have local mapping, single sign-on, or federation. Protection, let's protect the user, the device, whether it's a corporate device or a personal device. Corporate info, we have containerized applications to keep everything contained and secure. And finally, deployment, local or cloud, it doesn't matter. Hybrid workspaces wraps that productivity and success no matter the user's location or the device. Let's see how this works with, for instance, cloud storage. We have OpenText Filer out here, which is a on-prem file storage that we have, a private cloud per se. And you can see as we go out there, we have some folders and some files, including this PDF out here that we're going to open in through hybrid workspaces. Now, of course, you can edit online through the Filer presentation, but let's log into hybrid workspaces. We're going to now open up our own workspace called Digital Airlines. Opening up this workspace gives us all these applications that are assigned to us. We also have files out here, and we can see the DA files. We also have corporate links if we want to put corporate links in here. All right, for anything like Slack or Salesforce, whatever you're using. Now, back to the files, let's go into the folder and let's go ahead and check out. We have that PDF we were talking about, and we could view it here if we want to through Hybrid Workspaces portal, or we can open up the application that's containerized and secure and has all the resources needed in the container, open up Adobe Reader, for instance. Now within that application, we've also mapped the T drive, which is that filer drive. So we don't have to present all the files in one place. We can present them in multiple places. So we're going to go ahead and do an open, and you can see here that we now have a T drive mapped through this application, not on my local drive, but through this application. I could then open up the filer and go to that particular PDF to open it up. And this is all self-contained in an app. We're opening it in the app on the on-prem server, keeping the data in its current location. So let's throw a comment in here just so we can see that it's real time. We're going to throw in a comment, and we're just basically going to add something here like change the color scheme. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to say post. Now we can go directly back to Filer, or in any fashion, either through hybrid workspaces or not. But we can close this out. It's saved to the on-prem server, never downloaded or emailed. We can then view this file, and we could see that node is present. That's the power of hybrid workspaces. We're doing everything from a distance, but we keep all the rights and privileges contained. You can have other tools, database browsers. Some of these are pre-configured that you can download. You don't even have to wrap them up. They're pre-existing, and all you have to do is tweak them to your environment. Now we can run in the cloud, HTML5 in a browser, or windowed, so it looks like the actual app is running locally, or you can actually run it local or install on your PC. So there's multiple ways of doing this. In this case, we're running it from a distance. So we're going to start an RDP session in the background, but it looks as if it's running on this local machine. All right. Again, this particular app will select open, and we actually have the T drive, but we also have mapping to our local drive on this device. So you can see the C and the D, and you have the T. So you have your RDP session. You also have your local machine. If you're doing some local stuff, you can then also map those as well. So the options are endless. You've already set up this infrastructure. Why not use it? We're going to go ahead and close this out, and it'll close that RDP session. You can also see that we have multiple versions. We can have different versions of, for instance, Chrome running on the same device because they're containerized and isolated. So if you needed to do testing and so forth, you can do so. Now the links, you may need to have some special authorization to use these. Well, by selecting them, you can set up these links so that it'll go to a particular location and require single sign-on, or it may require multi-factor authentication. That's the power of hybrid workspaces. Being able to link all the resources you currently have in place and presenting them to the user, bringing that IT environment to them on any device at any location. So let's see how some of this is set up. For instance, let's open up the server administration. This is the admin portal. You can see these are the repository of all of our applications. You notice 7-zip is not in our application portfolio. It may be in another workspace, but not this one. Let's go ahead and go to our workspaces, and we're going to manage our Digital Airlines workspace. By doing so, we can add that application very easily. We're going to add a PC application. We're going to say add the 7-zip. And once we do so, we can then configure it on how we're going to launch it or how we wish to launch it. Right now, we have, we'll do it only run on my local PC, right? But I didn't change the launch mode, which is pretty much default HTML5. So we'll see what happens when that occurs. Let's go back to our workspace. As a user, we're going to refresh it, and we'll now see that 7-zip is there. Now, if we double click on this, you'll notice that it says, oh, I'm sorry, you can't do the normal execution. Go ahead and close it and right click on it. Or you could set that as a default to run on my PC. Now what it's doing is it's taking that package and running it locally. It's bringing it down and it's going to run it locally on your local machine. Now it doesn't care if you have another version of 7-zip or not. It doesn't care about any other versions. It's running independent. And here again, when we do a file open, we could then see that the T drive's there. You could see the version is here. It doesn't matter at this point, but you've added that. You also have the green dot. If you leave and go to another location, you could bring the same process up and it'll just halt until you log back in from another location. We're going to go ahead and close this, and you can see it's stopping the background session. Because it's running in the background session, it makes it easy to reattach later. Now let's look at how it looks like from a mobile. So for instance, we're going to talk about Notepad++, and this could be any application. I just put a link on the top of my desktop for my phone. And we're going to launch this Notepad++, and it's going to actually say, oh, by the way, you need advanced authentication to form factor. So go ahead and log in, and let's make sure that you are who you are. And again, this is another integration that you can put into hybrid workspaces, the multi-factor authentication, security, and so forth. So it's very versatile. Again, bringing that local setup to any device anywhere and leaving all the files on-prem. Again, we're working on a notice. Maybe it's checking configurations or checking some data and you need to get back to your boss. Now, how do we do this packaging? Well, that's where Studio comes in. You could start a capture, you can capture before or after and it gets the deltas. You can publish to Hybrid Workspaces server. There's a lot of different advances, but if you don't have time to create them yourself, you can always log into their hub and go ahead and view what they have prepackaged. They have all these browsers in different versions. They have database tools, they have package managers, they have runtimes. All of these are available for you to download and tweak and make available for your configuration on your environment. And you can combine multiples as well. So if you need Flash Player with Firefox, you can do so. All right. You can also open them up. You can see that there's some isolation, some read only. You can see the source and the files that they need. You can tweak them and remove or add more files if needed for configurations. You can make it a standalone exe, but you can always save the exe. We just built it, and it's going to package it up. As I mentioned, you can publish to the Hybrid Workspaces server or local repository. You can modify the registry or the file system. There's different settings you can put in here for child processes and payloads. There's security. And the network is there for any types of connections that you may need. And then if you have ZenWorks Configuration Management, you can, from here, upload to ZCM for deployment if you wanted to. So we've seen the applications in process. We've seen how to build them. Let's move on. Hybrid Workspaces provisions the user to give them a secure environment and access from anywhere. Any application is device agnostic. Files remain in the original location. Device impact is controlled, whether it's a corporate device or a personal device. And you can deploy the applications either locally on the device or in the cloud. How does it protect? Product integrations, infrastructure security. We saw how it did this with multi-factor authentication and single sign-on. The applications are containerized, so they're isolated from anything else on the system. It's a granular configuration, as granular as you need, and it has secure links as well. In productivity, you have independent workspaces for each of your users. No application installations, impact-free on the device, access anywhere, and they can work with confidence because they're used to those particular programs.
Today's work and learn from anywhere model provides flexibility and convenience for employees, students, and organizations. But how do IT teams ensure everyone has access to the programs and resources they need to stay productive without compromising security? Hybrid Workspaces is a virtual desktop alternative that provides users with secure access to all corporate-approved applications and files from desktop, tablet, and mobile devices. IT teams can quickly deploy core business applications to remote and hybrid workers on Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, Linux, Chromebook, and other operating systems. Through Hybrid Workspaces, users are able to access one or more assigned workspaces containing all the resources they need based on their roles and settings. Additionally, users are provided access to their corporate files stored on the network or in popular collaboration platforms including Filer, OneDrive, and Google Drive, all accessed via approved secure workspace applications. IT can also rest assured, Hybrid Workspaces delivers both transitional and browser-based applications in secure and isolated desktop containers that include all required dependencies and plugins. This ensures security is baked in. Because Hybrid Workspaces uses local desktop resources instead of servers, organizations can provide a robust application streaming experience at a fraction of the cost of traditional virtual desktop deployments. In addition, applications and data remain protected as employees work from anywhere, providing safe access to corporate resources while minimizing user errors. With Hybrid Workspaces, organizations can move forward at the speed of productivity, supporting work and learning from anywhere.
So use Hybrid Workspaces to help organizations extend their resources for the best productivity, securing the data, property, assets, and staff to be successful. Again, productivity is in the details. Let's give your users the details they are used to. Hybrid Workspaces will keep you in control of your environment while provisioning users their needed resources anytime, anywhere, on any device. Thank you for joining the session today. To see more of how Hybrid Workspaces can extend those current investments to keep your users productive, hence the success of your organization, go to our forums, community, and product pages. This presentation was on the Unified Endpoint Management Portfolio Group Hybrid Workspaces product. Thank you and have a good day.